Welcome back to another episode. I am Sticks. This is my best friend and co-host D-Lo, and we are too complex. We got some good, interesting content for you today, but before we get into it, hit that like button and that subscribe button. We almost there, y'all. We a little bit over halfway, so go ahead and get us to that 600 subscribers. And of course, hit that notification bell so you miss none of these bangers. What the fuck? I open my that we drop every single week. Look up and you got on some damn shades and you clicking shit.
I couldn't see nothing, bro. I couldn't see anything. So I took them off. I told my wife she because we watch Nightcap, and you know how Ocho always got glasses,
always got shades
or shades.
Yep.
And she was like, "You better not ever wear." I was like, "I'll wear shades next week." And so I just
don't
remembered
don't
that.
tip me, woman.
Exactly. And I just remembered that, and then I tried to put them up, and she said, "She was like, you're not gonna be able to see anything." I was like, "Yeah, I can't see anything."
You couldn't see nothing.
No, I mean I could see, but it was really, really dark.
Oh my!
I mean,
gosh.
those are like, because these glasses are blue blocking glasses, and then those shades are supposed to block
everything.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I really cannot.
I barely could see you.
That's insane. Well, I'm black, so
nah. See, I knew you was gonna go there. No, that's not what I was trying to say.
You got on black shades. You see a black.
I could barely see me. Put it that way. I could barely see me also, and we know I'm bright. So there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Get into it, bro.
Get into it. All right, man. So, we already got the intro out the way. How was your week, man? How was your week, bro? How was the week?
Yes. So let me ask you. I ask you this sporadically often. I'm going to ask you again. Are you sure?
You asked me the same question last week. Talking about sporadically. It's the second week in a row.
Hey. Yeah. And so let me expound on why I'm asking you this question. So we are in the midst of my son he's a toddler. We're in the midst of potty training.
Yes, sir.
So potty training him has been one of the more difficult tasks that we've had to do with him up until this point. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's a thing that we have learned, Stacy, conversing with other mothers and, older mothers as well, is kids, especially boys, don't really like to poop in the potty initially. Okay. It's like they'll sit on the toilet and pee, but when it comes to pooping, they struggle with it. He's starting to do it slowly but surely, but the first couple times, no. Anyway, long story short, so because he does not poop in the potty, when he has to use a bathroom and we're not around, he'll just strip his clothes off, diaper, all that. This week, me and Stacy kind of got our communications mixed up with who's supposed to watch him when the babysitter leaves and whatnot. We both had meetings and forgot to tell each other.
Got you.
Well, when the babysitter leaves, she puts him down for a nap, and then he wakes up and one of us takes him. Usually it's her because she's downstairs. Mm-hmm. Well, this day, neither one of us could go. We were both in meetings. Mm-hmm. This man took his clothes off, took his diaper off, poop smeared all on the floor. Yeah. The carpet, you remember the carpet in the living room? Mm-hmm. No longer there. It was rough, bro. It was rough, bro. Nephew. So that's why I'm like, you sure you really want to deal with all of this?
So it's funny because every time you ask me this question, the story elevates a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
But I still want to have me another one.
I know you do, man.
And again, but see, the thing with me is, like I keep saying, I want a girl, bro. And it's not like, of course, I'll be happy with whatever the Lord gives me, and I'm not afraid to take care of a son. I mean, I would love to have a boy to take that legacy. But at the same time, it's like, yes, bro, because just like I explained every single week, what I've seen within myself, taking care of that 16-year-old that's back there with her head on that pillow. Mm-hmm. I just enjoy that feeling of having even at 16, it's like she can come and talk to me and confide in me, and that love that she shows me, just as her biological, which we will get into, as her biological father, it's like there's I haven't felt anything that exceeds that until the wife part comes, but I haven't felt anything that can see that exceeds that feeling of somebody coming to you and that shows you that love and knows that you love them back, and they can just, you can impart wisdom on them and lead them in the right direction. I love that. I love that feeling, bro. I love that feeling.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's just my way
but
of
I know
sharing
there's
my
trials and
stories
tribulations.
with. It's my way of sharing my story with the parenting
community
trials and tribulations that I have. And then trying to gauge how really bad you want to have more.
See, by the time my next little one come out, I'll be probably 40 something, early 40s.
Exactly.
So me and the lady gonna have to talk about that, because she gonna be the same age, So her health is number one, so we got to figure that out. But yeah.
I definitely want you to have more, man. I just be messing with you.
Facts.
But it's really for me to kind of jokingly bring in what I'm dealing with over here at the house parenting. But other than that, the week was good and no real complaints as always. Me and the wife were we started something new last night. That I think I'll wait to see how it goes, and then we'll talk about it later on. But it was nice to just spend time with her in that capacity again, and chill for a little bit. But again, nothing crazy this week. Just chilling. And
same old thing with the family.
The literal shit that happened with Dalen.
the shitty situation.
That happened with Dalen. Other than that, chilling. How about you? How was your week?
Everything cool this way, man. Still the same thing with the job. But I had a. It wasn't a W in a sense of winning another client in the sales world. It was a W in the sense of being able to personally partner with a insurance carrier, and being able to start a networking relationship with this carrier, this insurance carrier. So again, we're in academy, and we had some carriers come and give presentations on how we can use them as a resource to help these small businesses get employee benefits. And after that, I was just, during the meeting, I could tell that, they enjoyed my energy and the questions that I asked and stuff like that. So after the meeting was over, I kind of stayed after and just, talked to try to build a little bit more rapport. And within that conversation after the meeting came a kind of like a business relationship, to where I'm gonna start going to different trust meetings and chamber meetings, and anytime that a small business will call that particular carrier, he will pawn them off to me and say, hey, this person is looking for benefits, give them a call because they called me directly, type of thing. So it's going to turn into a long-standing relationship, to where I can easily get clients that are not cold calls. They're technically warm at that point because they want something. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a really good thing for me in this sales world, especially being in the industry that I don't know, insurance, especially being in the industry I don't know, and how hard it is to cold call in general. So I can't wait for it. He already sent me 15 clients, and that meeting happened on Thursday. So yeah, it's about to what Cole say, bitch, I'm about to blow up. It's about to go crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to him.
Crazy. Shout out to him. But nah, everything was good for the week. Sam is back there. We just be max and relaxing. Me and her have a mutual love of anime. So that's what we do when we here, and we just talk and we just watch TV and we just relax, man. I'm things are starting to see, stuff start to elevate. So I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, bro. It's been a good week.
That's what's up.
It's been a real good week. But moving into the content, man. So I came across something. I don't know if you've watched this podcast often, but the Flagrant podcast, right? The Flagrant podcast is a podcast that gets a lot of flack because Andrew Schultz, the who's a comedian, but he is the owner of the podcast. He runs the podcast. He's the host of the podcast. He's sometimes controversial, says things that a lot of people don't want to say, especially within his comedy
controversial act. In what sense?
Because
I don't watch that podcast.
Well, he's controversial in a sense of he says a lot of racy. His jokes are racy, but they're relatable. You know what I'm saying? Like he plays on race a lot. He plays on because he's a white guy, but he plays on race a lot. He plays on the black and white dynamic. He plays on a lot of the inclusive jokes as far as the LGBTQAI plus community. I'm gonna make sure I get all of those in there. But he plays on a lot of he plays on a lot of controversial jokes, but he makes them make sense, and it's funny enough to where people can relate. So his podcast gets a lot of flack in a sense because he started off very, very humble in a sense, but then once he started to blow up a little bit with the comedy acts, he started to get real arrogant, and some of his interviews would be. They would be kind of awkward, and I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I watch it sometimes.
Yeah.
But the case in
now,
point,
this is the one. Is Charlamagne a part of this?
No, but he was on the podcast before, but he's not a part of the podcast now. Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
So he the case in point, the one he had with DJ Academics. I know I bring him up a lot, but I know we don't really fuck with act like that, but. The interview was just real awkward and real like cringy because of how Andrew Schultz acts now compared to before with his guests. But either way, that's neither here nor there. The rapper / singer Russ came onto his podcast here recently, actually a few days ago, and he was talking about the industry and how the streams. How the business of streaming, as far as like Spotify, Apple Music, and those types of outlets, how that's changing because now that people don't buy albums anymore, the streams is what really make the artist the music. And he's saying
making the money.
Yeah, is that what did I say?
You said music.
Okay, yeah, the streams was really making the money. Correct. So so. He's saying that these labels in the industry boost these streaming numbers for certain individuals, because if you already have a number one and you're at, say, 500 million, 500 million streams, organically, what's another 400 million to boost it and make it that number one song? D-Lo, my question is, do you believe that this is going on? And if you do believe it, how long do you think this shit's been going on?
So I 100% believe this is going on. To get direct to your question of how long, I want to say at least the last 5 to 7 years for sure. Might even be before that. I mean, because you got to think about it, like you just said. I think it's more widespread than just big name or big songs that we know and hear of. I think it's across the whole industry, and because they're incentivized to do so. You pay a little bit in the front end, get a lot on the back end, right? So if you're paying, and how they do this is they go to what is called stream farms. And what a stream farm is basically facilities that have tons of devices, whether that be cell phones, iPads, or tablets, computers, and they just stream or play the same thing over and over and over to make it look like it's multiple users listening to that, and they do it for hours upon hours or a certain amount of time, and then right, and then they shut it off, right? And so during that time, they get however many number of streams or views that they need to reach a certain number. And then once they reach that threshold, they cut it off, or, because these people, the labels are paying for this, or content. We can go into that a little bit too. Content providers, content creators are paying for these. And so once they do that, they get what they need. And so, for instance, I think Spotify pays 15th of a penny, something like that, for every stream that they get. And so, you got to have a certain amount of streams in order to get. Well, I don't even know. Russ was saying like that is how they get their money. What he was saying, and then he flipped around and said the streams, you got to have 1,000 or 1,000,000 streams to even make $1,000 or something like that.
So it says the payment for 1 million streams on Spotify can vary, but it is generally estimated to be around 4,000 to 7,000. This amount,
4,000.
however, is split between streaming platform and the rights holders. Yeah,
right, exactly. So that's what he was saying. He was saying for the artists that actually created the music, 1,000,000 streams, they only getting about maybe $1,000, $1,500 for that. So you can only imagine for them, they're really incentivized to get those streams up because, like you said, their money is coming from streams. But that's why a lot of them stay on the road because you can make more money per show than you would for streaming your music.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's just widespread, man. I mean, evidence of this would be last year. I think the end of last year, I remember Spotify putting out a public statement saying that they would charge labels $10 a song if they found out that they had fraudulent streams. And this was the crazy part. The fraudulent streams, they said if they found that they had more than 90% fraudulent streams. So you got to think about that. If you're going to go so much as say 90%,
mm-hmm.
That's a big number.
That's a huge number.
Almost, you're saying almost 100% of somebody's streams is fraudulent. And that's when you're going to say, all right, we need to charge them. So it's definitely widespread. Everybody knows it.
100%.
What can we do to end it? Because they're incentivized to do this.
They are incentivized to do it. And what really brought that conversation up was that Andrew Schultz asked Russ the question. He said, how are they tricking us? He said, because I see these people go crazy on these streaming platforms. And he was like, album goes number one, but they can't fill up a show. So he was like, to me, the math ain't mathing. So Russ goes into it and says, it's a real thing. He said, here's the deal. When you talk to these people, because I've talked to these people, because I've been like, what is this? How are y'all doing this? They never disclose the mechanics of how they actually fake the streams. There's like, rumors of streaming farms like D-Lo mentioned, or they're delving out computers in third world countries and hacking the back end to make it look like it's an IP from the US, all this nutty shit. But the reality is the label is spending money and, devil's advocate, they're treating it like a marketing expense because in a sense, it almost is a marketing expense. But he says they're doing it with like up and coming artists they're not doing it with up and coming artists who you wouldn't believe it. Let's say your song has 500 million streams organically, but let's say with fake streams, they're at now 900 million. That's more like 500 million a song. They're not doing it with the dude across the street and giving him the billion streams. They're doing it with people who already have 500 million and they're pumping it to 900 million. And to me, that right there is what D-Lo was saying, because if they're saying that if they can prove that you've got 90%, then they need to start charging you. But if you're pumping it 40 more percent, then it looks organic. You know what I'm saying? So it's just crazy, man, because you can. And that makes sense to me in a sense, because you'll see a lot of different artists, just like Andrew Schultz said, like these motherfuckers got the number one song with 200 billion, 300 billion, 300 million streams, but they concerts be empty. Like they don't sell all the tickets. And it's like, but again, smart marketing. If you can pay, if you can spend, what was the number he said? He asked them, he said, you have people who are really consuming the music. Your song is actually being moved around organically. Once it's that, then they'll push the button on it. And he said, how much does it usually cost? He said about $70,000 for a 12-week fake streaming campaign. So if you can spend $70,000, you know what I'm saying?
Drop in a hat.
That's a drop in a hat for some of these production companies, bro. Like they don't, you know what I'm saying? 70,000 and go all eye.
For sure.
He said $70,000 might bring you 200, 300 million. That's a drop in the hat.
So let me put in, and this is why a lot of artists say that they are broke now also, and they have to stay on the road, because like labels will do stuff like this and, pump $200,000 to stream farms and to get streams up. But most of that comes out of what the artist owes. And so like the split that they have is is gone because they trying to help pump that song up. So I mean, it's definitely crazy. I mean, listen, what 2-3 years ago with 21 Savage, J. Cole started out with a question, how many faking they streams getting their placed by machines. So we know it's been going on.
We know it's been going on.
I mean?
And that song came out.
We know it's been going
5 years ago.
It's like, was it? Nah, it was like 2022. I'm sorry, 2021, 2020.
That's what I'm saying. 3, 4, did I say 4, 5?
You said 5, but I mean, I want to say 21. It was 2021. No pun intended.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, but even to that,
yeah, I mean, we know what's been going on. Put it like that. I mean, I said content creators.
That
earlier.
was 2018. So yeah, it was.
Oh yeah, you was right. 5 years ago. My bad. Dang, it seemed like it was just yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And we getting old, bro. Because
time
is
old,
flying. But anyway, but we know what's been going on because content creators and influencers on social media have been paying for followers and likes since like 2014. You remember that one time when Instagram cleaned up their platform and
and all those bots got
users,
clean.
Yeah, all the bots got clean. You had users that had tens of thousands of followers, and then one morning you wake up and they only got 2,000 followers. It's like, oh,
so you was botting, huh? And even on YouTube, people be view botting. It was a very popular 2K streamer named Chalk, and he got caught view buying because some of his views would be like first week they would be up to like 100-something thousand, and then all of a sudden the second week they'll drop to like half of that number. And everybody in the community was like, "What the fuck? Like how in the world did you have 100,000 last week? All of a sudden now you only got 56,000. How does that work?" Because you view buying, you want the algorithm to believe you getting these views to keep pushing it. But once those fake views drop off, you see where you really at. But it's but the crazy thing is, if you can drop 70K, right, to get, say in his example, to get 400 million more streams, if you getting, let's do the math on that real quick. If you getting, say just in that, they said between $4,000 and $7,000 for a million streams, right? So just to go in the middle, if you getting $5,500 for 400 million streams, that's $2.2 million. That's 300 times the money that you put in to get that.
Right.
That's crazy.
Pay a little bit up front, get a lot on the back end.
Exactly.
These labels is basically money laundering, bro. I mean, that's a bad. That's
kind of a bad thing to say, but in the grand scheme of things, you ain't wrong.
You know,
what Stephen A. Smith say. I mean, you ain't have to say it, but you ain't wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying, like, pay a little bit up front, you get a lot on the back end, and
that's a fact.
That's how they make their bottom line.
That's exactly what's happening. So I believe Russ. I mean, and like you brought up the song a lot that J. Cole said, how many faking they streams? I mean, people been knowing it's been happening. You know what I'm saying? And just like and Russ even said himself, he was like, he had a situation where he had an opportunity to do it, but he's the type, which I ain't really believe, because come on, man. Like, I believe a lot of these motherfuckers is doing it, including Russ. But he said that he didn't. He said he had an opportunity to do it, and he didn't take advantage of that opportunity because he wants all of his views and all of his streams to be organic. But the question is, though, D-Lo, would you drop that 70K?
Would I drop the 70K?
Yeah. Or would you want to be like Russ and get it all organic? Would you want to be that type?
I mean, if I didn't have to, so you put me in a bad situation because we are content creators, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not gonna say yes, I would do it, but I definitely would think about it because, like I said, you pay a little bit on the front end. If I had 70K to do it, I definitely would think about it because if I'm gonna get reap a lot in the back end.
If you can throw 70K at it and get 2.2 million,
I mean,
all that 2.2 ain't gonna be yours. So somebody got to go to the label, depending on what your percentage is. But somebody like Russ, who's independent and owns it and owns everything, he would get that 2.2 million back.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely worth it. But then when you don't pay it and you're not getting what you feel like what you thought you was gonna get. Without the stream farms and those fake streams, and it's like, I don't know. It just, I guess it depends on the person. If you're like, well, I got mine, I'm good. Which a lot of these up and comings, it happens. They get them a hot song, it streams crazy. They go on tour, and they get a little bit of money, and then you don't hear from them again.
Right.
But if you're somebody established, and this has been happening to you in your career for quite some time, and then like you just say, all right, yeah, let's not do it this time, and then you don't get the response that you thought you was gonna get. It could be hurt your ego, and then 5 years you're gonna be loving hip hop.
That's a fact. That's a fact. I mean, me, to answer my own question, I think I'm in the same boat as you. I think I would want to get mine organically as well. Because because he said that they only pumping the ones that already got the mainstream success. They only pumping, and I'm not saying that this has happened before, but we can all speculate. But they're only pumping the likes of like Drake or your Nicki Minaj's or people like that who already had the mainstream success, whose songs are already getting millions and millions of streams. But my thought process is like, if I already got 500 million streams, why would I pump it to 900? But I guess just like you said, it's like, if you got 500 million streams and you are, say, 200 million away from being the number one song on Spotify, then you can pay that $70K to get that 400 million, and now you're number one by 200 million streams.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess in that industry, there's some, you reap the benefits from it because you have the number one song now or number one album now. But
it could also be different incentives in the contract too. Like if you get a number one album, you get this type of multiplier for whatever, or
true.
If you have this amount of streams, then you get XYZ included in your contract now, or you get more of the cut and what I mean. So, or looking at it from a label standpoint, it just brings in more money for them to where they can go and try to look for more artists to bring onto their label and become an even bigger label and engulf other smaller labels or be a part of something else. So I mean, they're definitely incentivized in multiple facets to do this. Is it right? I mean,
depends on what you say morally, honestly.
Exactly. It's like yes, but no. I mean, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we going to LeBron.
Yeah.
So man,
people are annoying, bro.
LeBron always comes up in stuff when it's bad, right? Like when you want to make a negative point about the NBA nowadays, people say, well, we flop because LeBron flops. Or the latest is the dunk contest is the way it is because LeBron James has decided not to enter it for so long. A la Stephen A. Smith said this. Sticks, what do you think the NBA needs to open up well, let me stop right there. First off, do you think it's LeBron's fault that the dunk contest is the way it is? Second question is, does the NBA need to open up the NBA dunk contest to content creators or those that we have seen to be great dunkers? And then you had another question that you want to ask. I'll let you ask that one.
Facts. So LeBron James gets a lot of hate, honestly, for no reason, because and just going back from year 1 to now year 21, the man seemingly had a perfect career other than the decision, which that's the same as somebody
losing in the 2011 finals.
And the way that he looked, the way that people perceived the way he played in that finals, right? But to me, the decision ain't nothing but a 5-star recruit putting on the hat. I'm going here. Like that's basically the same shit. LeBron just didn't get to do that because he didn't get to go to college, so he decided to do it with taking his talents to South Beach. But
he decided not to go to college.
Speaking of South Beach, I got on a Miami jersey today. It ain't LeBron, but still.
Yeah.
But
who got into a brawl last night?
Did you see that? I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, the Pelicans and
I did see that actually. I saw it on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he gets a lot of heat for no reason because he doesn't have any chinks in his armor. He doesn't have any stains on his resume for them to say, "Oh, look, he's there's just some infidelity in the relationship," or "Oh, look, he's doing." Well, they tried to say he was doing steroids, but they can't prove it. "Oh, look,
Right.
he doing drugs and he can't stay off the weed and all this other shit that they be saying about a lot of these different fucking all this different stuff they be saying about these different athletes. LeBron don't have those chinks in his armor. He's a great husband. He's a great father. He's a great athlete. He's a great teammate. He's a great leader. He's a great advocate for his community. He's a humanitarian. He's all of these different things that they can't sit here and say, "Oh, he has chinks." They can say a lot of different things about Michael Jordan. He had a gambling addiction. He did a lot of different things. Like you can say you can say things about Jordan, but you can't say things about LeBron. And that's what the get off my lawn analysts and basketball enthusiasts throw at LeBron. So to sit here and hear Stephen A. Smith say the problem with the dunk contest is because LeBron James, one single man over the past 21 years, did not enter the dunk contest. We saw LeBron James do okay in the McDonald's All-American dunk contest. Mm-hmm. And we see him do some theatrics in the layup lines before the games. But you mean to sit here and I'm gonna point out something that Draymond Green said in his podcast. Draymond Green said that he's for Stephen A. Smith to say that he's taken away steam from or the acclaim from players like Zach LaVine, from players like Aaron Gordon, from players like Nate Robinson, from players like Vince Carter, from players like Tracy McGrady, people who entered the dunk contest and showed the fuck out. So you mean to tell me that LeBron James is the single man over the past 21 years that has ruined the dunk contest? It's just a horribly bad take by Stephen A. Smith. Not the first one in Stephen A. Smith's career that he's been bad when it comes to LeBron, but this is probably the worst one to say that he single-handedly killed an event. Secondly, yes, I believe that they need to do something totally different with the dunk contest. Draymond Green said they need to get it all together and bring something else in and be more creative when it comes to different events for the All-Star weekend. But I think if they brought in somebody like Jordan Kilgannon, the stuff that we be seeing on social, if they brought in some of these social media stars, some of these YouTube famous dunkers and basketball players to do some, bro, if you saw what Mac McClung did in the dunk contest, imagine some of these. If anybody who's watching this right now, go YouTube Jordan Kilgannon or YouTube dunkers and see what these dudes are out here doing. You would be amazed. And if the NBA was to open it up, they already opened up the celebrity game to content creators. You saw Kai Cenat in the celebrity game this past weekend. Why not open the dunk contest up to some of these same content creators on YouTube? And you will see an exciting dunk contest again. What you think, D-Lo? What you think about what's going on with Stephen A., what he said, and do you think they should open it up?
So I feel like
pause.
It's valid. So I feel like the take on LeBron is unwarranted, because like you mentioned, LeBron, to me, and I could be my take on this could be totally wrong, even though we see him do like some pretty nice dunks in the warm-up lines and the layup lines before the games or whatnot.
So you can see that right there.
Anyway. Yeah, you see Bron. I don't think Bron is a showcase dunker. And that, to me, that's what the dunk contest is a showcase dunks, right? Mm-hmm. LeBron, yes, he can get in the air, but I don't think when he's in the air, he's that creative. You know, like certain people,
I can see that.
When certain people have creativity when they're in the air. LeBron can be creative, I think, if he really, really thought about it, but that's not LeBron. LeBron is just a
power
in-game dunker. Yeah, he's an in-game power dunker, right? He's gonna get to the basket, and the younger LeBron was dunking on everybody. LeBron nowadays, yeah, he still can get to the basket, but he's not dunking on everybody. But he still can showcase that he can get up every once in a while. So I feel like the take is a bad take. LeBron James did not ruin the dunk contest. It's, for NBA players that are 6'8", 6'9", maybe 6'3", because Zach LaVine's what, 6'6" or something like that.
I think 6'5", I think, but you're around there, yeah.
Yeah, so from the range of 6'3", Nate Robinson was the shortest. He was at 5'9".
Well, Spud Webb was the shortest that was in it, but he wasn't a winner. Yeah,
well, right. But from the time frame that Stephen A is referring to, I think Nate Robinson fell in that, right? And so Nate Robinson was the shortest at 5'9". The tallest was Dwight Howard, I believe, or JaVale McGee is 7 foot, or Dwight Howard 6'10",
6'10" to 6'11", yeah.
Yeah, and JaVale McGee is 7 foot tall, right? So the tallest. How much really can they do past what we've already seen? Other than like the Nate Robinsons, or the Zach LaVines, right? The people that they have enough time from jumping off the ground to get into the rim to do something that's like, oh wow, okay, dude is short, but he did that. That's crazy. It's not much that they can do now. So to say that LeBron single-handedly ruined the contest is terrible. To go into the second question, I believe like they 100% should allow content creators to be a part of the dunk contest. I would go so much as to say this could be a solution for it. They should have, before NBA All-Star Weekend, the collection of content creators, YouTube dunkers, all that whatnot that we feel like are worthy of putting on the show. They should have their own separate dunk contest. The top 3 winners of that dunk contest get to participate in the dunk contest on Saturday night during NBA All-Star Weekend. If one of those dunkers wins the dunk contest, which they probably would, they get a 10-day contract.
That shit would be fine. I ain't gonna lie. That would be fine.
Right. And so
that's a good idea.
America loves the underdog. And so to see somebody actually earn a NBA, I was about to say scholarship, an NBA contract, whether it's 10 days, 1 day, whatever the case is, we would love to see that. And I would love to see it would give a little bit more excitement because these content creator dunkers, they are doing some crazy stuff.
Being creative with these dunks,
right?
Bro.
But that's what they do. You know what I mean? They're trying to get views and they're trying to get people to watch their content. So they'll probably spend 3-4 days trying to do one dunk that we see on Instagram, right? Like we see the finished product, but they probably spend hours upon hours upon hours trying to figure out how to do a dunk. Whereas NBA players are like, man, I mean, I'm already in here. I'm
gonna get out there and I'm gonna figure something out on the fly type.
Yeah, right. They're not gonna spend hours upon hours doing it. So I mean, I definitely think that content creators should be invited to give it a fresh new appeal, a fresh new look, some fresh blood into the dunk contest. And LeBron did not ruin the dunk contest.
There's no way he did. So, and just to kind of expound a little bit more on the content creators being in the dunk contest, there's another guy. There's 2 more guys actually, Chuck McMillan or Chuck Milan and who was the other guy? I just saw his name. Of course, Jordan Kill. Jordan Kilgannon is the most famous one. But there's a lot of guys out there, man, that are social media dunking stars, bro. Like that. You just see them doing some of the craziest dunks, like 540s, and Jordan Kilgannon is famous for his scorpion dunk and all of these different things. And if you don't know what a scorpion dunk is, you need to see it in the dunk contest, obviously, because they're doing some amazing dunks, man. And I think that should be one of the things that they do to fix the dunk contest. Because right now the 3-point contest is taking over. The 3-point contest is what everybody tunes in to watch. And now they're starting to bring in, which they're trying to advocate for the WNBA. They're starting to do the 3-point shootout between the best 3-point shooter right now and the best 3-point shooter in the WNBA and the NBA, which is Steph and Sabrina Ionescu. So they did that, and that the money goes to the charities. So that that's what people are tuning in to see. The dunk contest is just, it's been corny for a while, honestly. It's been corny. I think when was the last one that was good? When was the last one that was like really good?
Zach LaVine and Aaron
was that the last one that was really, really good?
That was a lot. Yeah. Because I mean, I mean, like them boys was going at it.
They was going at it and being dumb creative with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the
I mean,
last
the
one that was
one
really
Blake
good.
Griffin one, yeah, I mean,
He jumped over
the front of
the Kia. Yeah.
Yeah. But
I don't know too many motherfuckers that jump over the top of that motherfucker.
Right. Well, that's true. That's true. I'm not saying that he jumped over the front of it.
Yeah.
But then you go knows about the Vince Carter one.
Oh yeah. Vince Carter.
LeBron wasn't in the league at that time.
Vince Carter and T-Mac and Steve Francis and all of those guys going crazy. And that's what I'm saying. It's like so many stars that have done the dunk contest that you're taking steam away from. You're taking all this acclaim away from just blaming this one thing on LeBron James. Like, and the fact that he's blamed.
But you know what it is, bro.
They're trying to defame is a bad word to use, but they're trying to minimize his GOAT status.
They're trying to, they're comparing him to the Kobe's of the world, to the Jordans of the world, who actually participated in
won
the dunk contest.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why because those individuals did it. Does LeBron have to do it? Right?
But nobody has to do it though. Like when they asked Jaylen Brown trash dunking ass in the dunk contest, he could have said no. But he recently came out and said, if they ask me to do it again, nobody want to do it, I'm gonna do it again. He did. He said that. So I mean, my thing is with LeBron. Okay, yes, we all know that LeBron has ups, but I think LeBron plays to his strengths very well. He does,
and
100%.
Never lets many of his weaknesses like out the bag. He doesn't reveal a lot of his weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And so after that McDonald's All-American dunk contest, he probably was like, this ain't for me. This ain't for me. Nah, because I mean, you gotta think about it. If he goes in it and he doesn't do well, what people gonna say?
It's gonna go against his legacy again.
They're gonna find something to say. They're gonna find
something to say.
Exactly. And maybe that's why
I can hear Stephen A. Smith now. You do all this in the basketball games, and you get out in the dunk contest, and I can hear Stephen A. saying that now.
Right. And so I mean, that's why it's like he's in a lose-lose situation.
He is. 100%,
if he goes into it
100%.
Maybe when he was younger, yeah. But if he goes into it and he wins, it's like, what are you supposed to win? You're LeBron James. Look how high you can jump.
It's a lose-lose situation for LeBron.
Yeah, if he loses, it's like, bro, you can't win the dunk contest. Jordan won the dunk contest. Kobe won the dunk contest. Man.
And they were a couple inches shorter than you are. You should be able to do. You jump way higher than they jumped.
Yeah.
Like they would trash LeBron if he was to go in it and lose it. They really would. Yeah. And if he won it, it wouldn't be it would be a detriment as well because you're supposed to win, like you said. So like,
yeah.
But to ask that final question though, D-Lo, and this came from shout out to my boy Op, shout out to Rashad. This came from him. He asked me this question last night. Who was a better two-time dunk champion, Nate McMillan or Mac McClung?
The coach, Nate McMillan.
Am I saying that wrong?
The coach, like Nate McMillan. He played in the NBA.
Yeah, I know. But he wasn't. I'm talking about the dunk contest winner.
Yeah, I don't know if he was. That's what I don't know. Was he in the dunk contest?
Am I saying what am I? I'm thinking about. I'm talking about. I said Nate McMillan. Nate Robinson. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. That's what I meant.
Got you.
So who was better? Was it did Mac McClung have a better showing, or did Nate McMillan have a better show? Nate Robinson have a better showing?
I think they had very similar similar performances. Like Nate Robinson dunked over Dwight Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Mac McClung dunked over Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know Shaq is taller,
a couple of inches taller. Yeah, not too much.
Mac McClung is taller than Nate Robinson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think they had similar. That is one where it's very close, and I understand why Op said that, but I think they had very similar performances when you think about it.
Yeah, I think it's close too. I will say that Nate Robinson's dunk contest looked better because he's shorter.
Yeah,
But I will also say that Mac McClung's dunk contest was a little bit more creative in the dunks that he did. So because Matt McClung was known on social media, on YouTube, for the dunks that he did in game in high school. So he was known for that.
But is that like recency bias though too?
It could be.
Because it's still fresh in our mind of what he's done in the last 2 years, and you can't really remember, like with like in your brain, you can't really remember everything that Nate Robinson did. Like I remember Nate Robinson, like he was more creative and more of a showman than Mac McClung was. Like all of his after dunk theatrics is what they're bringing into it now, right?
I got you. Yeah,
have the hype with it. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Matt McClung did that. Yeah, he was more creative with his dunks, I guess. Because didn't he do the dunk where? What did Matt McClung do last year?
He did a 540 for what he attempted to do a 540.
Right. And so I think it's a little bit of recency bias. I think it's also I'm not gonna go there. And you know what
I know exactly what you was gonna say.
I'm not even gonna go there. But yeah, I think both of those performances are very similar. It's just, because of the recency of Matt McClung being a 2-time dunk contest winner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you probably would lean more towards him, but in reality, I think they're both the same.
I think they're very, very close too. That makes sense.
So we mentioned Mike. We mentioned, this is a new one for you. We mentioned Mike. We mentioned Kobe.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, and Luke Longley are going on a no bull tour starting in Australia, where they're going to be talking about basketball for the Australian League, but they will be discussing the documentary that Mike released a couple years ago, The Last Dance, and they're going to be trashing it. What? Now come back to the mic, man. Come back to the mic. So what you feel, how you feel this is going to turn out? Because I'm going to tell you what I saw on some of the trailers one of the trailers that I saw where they were announcing that they're kicking off the tour. Horace Grant was on stage and he's like, I know a lot of people are going to ask us about that bullshit documentary. While it looked like he was wearing Jordans, I want to say, I don't know if they were Jordans for sure, but it looked like he had on some Jordan 11s, some Concord, not Concord. What's it called? Bread 11s? Bread Jordan 11s, but the sole didn't look right, but it had patent leather around it. So how you feel about this? What do you think? We already know how Scottie Pippen feel about MJ. And apparently a lot of the teammates that were on those teams where The Last Dance was focused on, a lot of them do not like how they were portrayed in those seasons.
Oh no, this man got on some Team J's. He got on some J's, but they not no retros. Oh my God, Horace Grant. Oh,
but you see the patent leather, right?
Oh, Horace, why did you put these on? Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry.
I was confused with it.
As y'all can see, I'm a sneakerhead, and I actually have the Bread 11s right here. But those that he got on, if y'all go please Google Horace Grant promoting the No Bull Tour and see they are not these. I promise you. But
yeah, they look like
they trash. Yeah. They trash. But so this is what I think. They trash. But what I think is that Scottie need to leave it alone, bro. Scottie is starting to piss me off with the amount of Jordan cock that he has in his mouth, bro. Oh, wow. It is starting to annoy me, and I like Scottie, bro. Jordan has been in the documentary. He said that without Scottie, there would be none of those championships. Low key, without Scottie, there would be no Michael Jordan. Well, that's kind of that's debatable. But Jordan gave so much. He gave a lot of love to Scottie in that documentary because he understands that Scottie was very instrumental to those championships that he won in Chicago. So, but I get it.
He also went at Scottie a little bit too.
He did. with the decision that he made with getting the surgery and signing that trash contract and all of that stuff that happened with him in Chicago, I understand he did go at him a little bit.
Leadership when he wasn't there.
A lot of that shit. So it's like Luke Longley looked bad. Anyway, so it was like I just this documentary was 4 years ago, bro. Why are we still talking about this? And Scotty, why are you still talking about this? Because you've been the one that's been the most vocal. So like, why are you still out here trashing Michael Jordan, who has said nothing about you since the documentary, bro?
Right.
Like, you still talking about Mike? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I think it has a lot to, but I mean, Horace Grant was, I can understand why they saying that a lot of them don't like how they were portrayed in the documentary. I can see that. I can understand that because I've watched it literally a couple of times. Like, sometimes I just get bored and put Winning Time on. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
Last Dance.
Winning Time was, which one was Winning Time? Winning Time was the Lakers. You're right. Last Dance. So sometimes I just put Last Dance on whenever I'm bored on Netflix and just let it play sometimes. And when I'm just in here chilling, or if I'm in here playing the game, or if I'm in here doing research for the podcast, I just put it on and just let it play. Because it is a good documentary, but I can understand why they said they don't like how they were portrayed. But Scotty just need to let it go, bro. It's annoying to hear him keep talking about Jay. I ain't gonna lie.
I mean, to go on a tour, and the tour, I don't even really think the tour is specifically for that. I need to check again. But to even mention, open that door that you can talk about that, it's like, all right, man, listen, I understand, like, you may not like how you were portrayed in the documentary, but like you said, it was 4 years ago. Like, people aren't really, they watched it for Michael Jordan. And yes, it was to make Michael Jordan seem more godlike than he actually was. And we know Michael Jordan's great. He's going to be the greatest, or one of the greatest, for many years to come, unless there's somebody that just scores 50 points a game for the next 5 years when they first enter the league. Michael Jordan's nobody's going to surpass what Michael Jordan did on the basketball court. I mean, they can get right there next to him, neck and neck. How I feel is, 1A, 1B, him and Bron, you feel like Bron is the GOAT. But realistically, in the mass public opinion, nobody will pass Michael Jordan when it comes to being the greatest basketball player of all time. But to like go on a tour detesting Michael Jordan and what he did in the documentary to you, I think you gotta let it go. It's bad taste. It's distasteful, and it makes you look petty for trying to combat his pettiness. Because a lot of people said MJ was petty for how he portrayed his teammates. But to come back and be petty on top of that, it's like, are we still in high school? Like, bro, y'all boys made y'all money. Y'all won y'all championships together. Just let it go, man.
Yeah, because from what is used to, what he's saying is this: it says the trio hopes to share their version of the events and give fans an inside look at life behind the scenes during the successful run. The tour, which started yesterday in Tasmania, and they're gonna make stops in Melbourne and Sydney. And then from what he said, what Horace Grant said was, it's going to be a no BS tour. He said, and I'll tell you this: the X Factor in the first 3 and the second 3, I would have kicked Dennis Rodman's ass. Yeah. Come out, get the tickets, and you'll hear a lot. So I'm like, okay, whatever. But like, and he I think he went so far as to say that he thinks the first 3-peat that he was on was better than the second 3-peat that he wasn't on.
Yeah.
So okay, like I don't know, man. I think they just need to. I understand their feeling of not liking how they were portrayed in the documentary. I get that. I get it 100%. I do. I promise I do. But to continuously talk about this almost 5 years later is insane, bro. Like,
Scotty is trying to let my fault. Go ahead.
No, I was done.
Scotty is trying to like tear down Michael Jordan's legacy.
He 100% is, bro.
He's trying to tear it down. Yeah.
And I mean,
he's trying to tear it down.
I mean, and his son and his ex-wife broke up. So
so let it go, bro.
Let it go, bro. Like, let it go,
man.
Let it go, cuz.
This grudge you got against MJ for allowing his son to
clap your
be
ex-wife
with your
cheeks.
wife. Yeah, let it go, man. Let bygones be bygones.
Let bygones be bygones, bro. Golly, that is crazy.
So, staying with the NBA, kind of NBA football, it's a little
bit
intertwined there. Last week, last week, Russell Wilson took his family to the NBA All-Star Weekend festivities, and him and he's called Baby Future, but I believe his real name is Zaire. Were wearing Kobe Bryant jerseys, and ESPN and the NBA social media pages made us aware of it by referring to Russell Wilson and Zaire as Russell Wilson's son. Artist Young Scooter replied to those social media pages and said that is not his son. Sticks, talk to me. How you feel about this?
So, in this situation, I'm going to put it this way. In this situation, Young Scooter is 100% wrong in this situation. 100% wrong. Because we're talking about Future here, who has double-digit children that he doesn't take care of. Well, I can't say that. I think he takes care of the most recent ones, I believe. I don't look into his life that much because it's not my business. But he has multiple kids he does not take care of. Young Future, Zaire being the most notable that he does not take care of. And Russell Wilson stepped into that situation with Sierra and took that child as if it was his and has been more of a father to this young man than Future has ever been. And I think they've been together how many years now? I think 6-7 years now, I want to say. Probably more than that.
Yeah, they've been together for a while, yeah.
For a while. And Future has not been active. Russell Wilson has been 100% there for this child. So to shout out ESPN and All-Star Weekend, yeah, that is Russell Wilson's son. In a situation, and I'm gonna make it personal because we talked about this off camera. I'm gonna make it personal because in a situation like mine, where I have moved my entire life to be present in my daughter's life, if my daughter and her mom's husband if that happened to me, I would shout to the mountaintops, like, the fuck is y'all talking about? Like, no, wait. That is not her father. Like, her father is 100% present in her life and has always been 100% present in her life. I am not Future. That is two different sides of the spectrum. He's extreme to one side. I am extreme to the other side. Like, that is two different things. So if that happened to me, I would be pissed off. But that happened in the future. That is warranted because Future is not the father of that kid. He is the sperm donor, 100%, but he's not the father. Russell Wilson is definitely the father in that child's life. So I agree with ESPN in this sense. What's your take on it? Young Scooter, you an idiot too. That don't make no sense. I didn't even know who Young Scooter was. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, whatever. But
you know how I feel about certain situations. Maybe this was to get his name out more. But I mean, you know,
maybe
whatever.
maybe that was a little publicity stunt on his side. Yeah,
respectfully, and you know how I feel about you.
100%. Yeah.
I respect you 100%.
Yeah, brothers,
I don't think the situation matters.
Okay,
I understand how you feel. I understand how some individuals may look at the situation, but if however the biological parents separated, that's on them. But if a step parent, bonus parent, whatever you want to call it, steps into a situation, regardless of if the relationship with the child is good or bad, or if they're present or not, I think that step parent is as much of a parent to that child as the biological parent, especially if they're like doing the best that they can do, right? Like they're not treating the kid bad. Yeah. If they're not doing anything, malicious to the child, they're treating them as their own. If somebody calls that child the son or the daughter of the step parent, I don't see anything wrong with it, because they, like I said, they're just as much they're just as not biological. They're just as much a parent, and having a hand in raising that child as much as possible. We got to stop this. It's almost like we don't want children to have parents sometimes when we do stuff like this. And again, your situation is different, and I'm not saying anything about the parents that are actively involved in their kids' life, even though they're not with them on a day-to-day basis. This future situation and the situations like Future's make it tough to feel sorry for them, and it makes it the situation that young Scooter's like, that's not his son. It makes it more palpable.
Palatable.
I said that right? Palatable. Thank you. Mm-hmm. More palatable to say that Russell Wilson is his dad. But even if Future was actively involved in Zaire's life, baby Future. I'm sorry. Even if Future, did I say Future or Russell Wilson?
You said baby Future.
Even if Future was actively involved in Zaire's life, mm-hmm. and Russell Wilson was still there, I still don't see any issue with him being called Russell Wilson's son, because Russell Wilson's with him on a day in, day out basis. It's a lot of things that stepfathers or step parents go through, mm-hmm. in the trenches with the kids every day that biological parents who aren't there all the time and are active don't experience. Like, it's a lot of times where biological parents just show up, take the kid out for a fun activity, and then bring them back to the house. They don't deal with the attitudes every day. Mm-hmm. They don't deal with, so I don't have any, I was in a situation like that growing up. I love my biological father. I don't have any beef with him, but if you ask me, my stepdad is my dad. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like we got to stop taking everything so personal when the situation between the parents happened and caused a separation. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of dysfunctional families in this country, maybe across the world. I don't know statistics across the world, but I know for sure in America there's a lot of dysfunctional. I guess I should
broken
say
homes,
That's
so to say.
Broken homes. There you go. Single broken parents, homes. Yeah, mm-hmm. A bunch of broken homes in this family in America. So,
I digest exactly what you're saying, because me and you are literally on opposite ends of this situation, right?
Exactly.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So when I want to use my situation as an example, but like I said, I see what you're saying. But in the situation with my daughter, whenever she has a situation, or maybe I can't sit here and say that I deal with the attitudes on a 7 day a week, 365 day a year, because I don't. Right?
But I know she's with that me
3 days out of the week.
Confides in you
100%. Anytime she has an issue,
right.
she calls me. Anytime she wants to talk about something, she calls me. Anytime she needs something, she calls dad. She calls her biological right. father, because I've been that for her for 16 years. You know what I'm saying? So. Mm-hmm. But whenever
that's understandable,
and whenever thank you. But whenever you have a situation where the biological parent is absent more times than not, then I can understand why you would say, okay, yeah, D-Lo is dad, or Russell Wilson is dad. I can see that, because me growing up, I didn't have a dad or even a stepdad in my life. So my goal to myself and to my daughter was to be way better than what I ever had. Right. And which is why I moved so many mountains to be with my daughter. So, I mean, but I do agree with you though. We got to stop. There's so much division in the world already when it comes to man and woman. It's so crazy. I just don't, it annoys me. Bro. It 100 on both sides, man and woman. It's all ego on both sides. Ego. And we gotta find, it wasn't meant for us to be separate. Life wasn't meant like that. God didn't design us to be man by himself, woman by herself. He designed us to be whole and be together. But there's so much division when it comes to man and woman in this world today that it is exhausting how much we see these red pill spaces and these feminist spaces and this all of this shit about girl boss and alpha male and all this bullshit where we both know in our hearts, in our soul, in our soul of souls, in our heart of hearts, that we need to be together. But there's so many spaces where man don't need woman, so many spaces where woman I don't need no man, ain't nothing going on but the rent, all this other shit that we don't that makes no sense to the biology of things, to where things were meant to be. So of course there are situations that happen and things that that happen in life to where that you don't need to be together depending on what the situation was. But when it's all said and done, man needs woman, woman needs man. And we need to get back to that traditional value of what life is meant to be with a wife and a husband. But, Future is Future. Future's Future. And he been doing what he been doing. And he makes songs about Sierra all the time. We hear him say it in his lyrics and all this other shit. So he still want her, but he ain't never gonna get her because he ain't Russell Wilson. So, and Russell Wilson is doing a damn good job. He 100%. He should have. Because he know that Future ain't being no daddy to that child. Just because he would, like I said, it was a sperm donor, then that means he is the technical father, but he is not. He's the dad, or what's the technical term? He is the biological.
You talking about Future?
He's the paternal part of the equation, but he's not a father. He's not a dad. He's not a father. Not at all. Yeah, we know that. Everybody knows that.
He's not a support system at all Zaire.
So Russell Wilson, yes, is Zaire's dad. Period.
Yeah.
Period. So, but yeah, it's for that. To me, that's touchy. And I know you that's why you prefaced it before we started recording. It is very touchy to me because I do everything I can for my daughter, everything I can. And whenever I see situations like this, it bothers me because we have to be better as a people, man. That's just what it boils down to.
Like you said, we're on the opposite ends of it, right? And I see the things that you do for or have done for your daughter. And when this came up, we've had this conversation before, right? And it was a great conversation. And I think I got more insight into how biological fathers look at stepdads. And I think you also got a lot of insight on
how stepdads,
the situation that
you're in. Yeah.
Right. And how we try to handle the situation. And so, like, for me, okay, if the biological father doesn't want me to be called dad, that's fine. But I'm still going to do everything in my power to raise the child that's in my home, even though they're not my child, as 100%. Best I can, to make sure that they are raised to be the best person that they can be when they get older, that they can achieve the dreams that they want to achieve when they get older. I want the same things as you want as a biological father, the one that's active in the family. And I'm not saying our situation is any different. The father is a great father, but he is active. But I feel like because of the step or the bonus or whatever the title may be, dad, step parent, we get treated as if we have no say so. And that's not the case. And right?
I agree. And
that's not the case. And if the child that I'm taking care of feels comfortable enough with me to think of me as a father or a dad, or they feel comfortable enough with me to not have an issue with anything that I do as far as disciplinary actions, praising them, whatever the case may be, who is anybody else to say what other than the biological parent? I don't know, I'm always going to respect that. Like, I'm not going to, or I think the step parent should respect the role that they stepped in, the person that they kind of nudged out the way a little bit. They should respect that role. But inside the walls of where they control, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And so, who is the person outside of that whole dynamic, biological step parents and the child, to say what and some person is and what some person isn't to the child that they're taking care of? So young Scoot was definitely out of it. Though he was definitely out of pocket for what he said.
Yeah, he should have kept it to himself because he's not in that situation. And conversations like this is good, man. Because like you said, we've had this conversation before, and we both got some really good insight and understanding on how these dynamics work. It to me, it all depends on the amount of effort put on both sides. Because that's how I feel. In my situation, I put in just as much effort. You know what I'm saying? So I should be looked at as the father. And Future and Russell Wilson's situation, there's no debate that Russell Wilson is that kid's dad. Period. There's no debate in that situation. Now, yeah. It's just
it could get, and I understand,
it could get complex. I don't want to get complex. Yeah,
I don't want to, because I know how you feel about the situation.
Yeah,
and I understand the situation, but me being in the shoes that I'm in and being in my situation, I try to shed a little light on you on how you should handle the situation.
Yeah,
I don't know how that dynamic is, but I know how my dynamic is. I show the most respect to both parents. I've tried to have a conversation with the other party to make sure that they understand, listen, not going to disrespect what you got going on. You always have access to your child. I will try to make sure that is the case. But, I am here also.
Yeah, right. Facts.
Right.
Facts.
I am here also. And so, I'm going to do everything that I can do to make sure that she's protected and she knows that she is loved, and, just raise her how I would if she was my own. And so,
yeah. And
and if you didn't know me, you would never hear me say, this is my, right. So
yeah. And I have never met the other party. Never really wanted to, but it's one of those things where I think it's an understanding that just between me and her mom that, I understand what he does and I respect what he does and I appreciate what he does. You know what I'm saying? But also know that if you know anything about me, if a motherfucker will move 3,000 miles cross country and drive that distance, he is serious about his kid. So you need to make sure that you respect me in the same vein. So I get it, man. I understand what you're saying, and I have got a lot of insight from these conversations from you for sure.
Yeah.
So moving on, man. So why do we had this conversation before about why do we hate getting old so bad? Why do we fight it so bad? Like, it's inevitable. So why do we fight it? So the reason why we have this conversation again is because famous social media model, Instagram model, Bernice Burgos is becoming a grandmother. I think this is the second grandchild, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. I didn't research it that much, to be perfectly honest with you. But she came out on social media saying that she doesn't want to be called a grandmother. And she goes on to say, do I look like a grandma? So just a little bit of background. Bernice Burgos is 42 years old. She is a social media influencer. She's a social media model. She's an Instagram model. Beautiful woman. And to answer the question, does she look like what a traditional grandma looks like? No, she doesn't. I think anybody can look at her Instagram page and say that, right?
Nah.
But are you a grandma? Yes. Should you be called a grandmother? Yes. And that's how somebody on social media say, with the name like Bernice.
Yeah.
Yes, you deserve to be called. How could you not be called grandma? But the thing that bothers me about this conversation is that all of these older guys are trying so hard to compete with these young folk, bro. Like men and women. And that's why like fashion is so important. That's why plastic surgery is taking off the way it is, because the way that society is now, it's like our generation from like 45 to 30 to 45 is trying to compete with the 18 to 28s. Why are we doing this? Why can't we just have our own lane and accept the fact that we're getting older and generations are coming after us and try to show that generation that what they need to do and teach them. Like, I don't understand, bro. It just don't make no sense. But Bernice, you wrong. You should be called a grandmother. You are a grandmother. I think this is your second grandchild. Do you look like one? Not in the traditional sense where they have the gray hair and the big mama look. No, you don't look like that. But yes, you are a grandma. So we're going to call you grandma. Like, if you're going to get mad about it, then that's on you. But yes, we're going to call you Grandma Bernice. Mama Bernice. Big Mama Bernice.
Your grandchild called you grandma. I'm going to call you grandma.
Mama call me Clay. I'm going to call Clay. So yes, well, you are what you are. So just accept it. Like, you don't got to be trying to be young all the time. Like, that stigma right there just kills me. But go ahead, D-Lo. I'm sorry. I know I'm rambling.
It's silly to me.
It's dumb. Yeah,
it's silly to me. Like, you don't get to act like an adult or act like a grown up at a young age, and then when it's time for you, the events of the older crowd comes into play, you get to skip that or delay it. It don't work like that.
You don't.
It don't. It's time for you to be a grandma, Bernice. You are grandma. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you don't look like a grandma. I give you that. You can have a different title, a different name if you want to, but the title of grandma is staying. It don't matter. Like my mom, her grandchildren call her Gammy.
Mm-hmm.
My wife's mom, they call her Granny. You know, you can have a different title, but you can have a different name for the word grandma, but you are grandma.
There are different coaches that say Meemaw. Like, it's the same thing. It's still, you are the grandmother. Meemaw means grandmother. Exactly. Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly. So, I mean, and to discuss the part where you say we are battling, it seems like our generation or our 30 to 45 range individuals are battling with 18 to 28. Most definitely is because a lot of us, a good percentage of us, I want to say like 15, maybe 15%.
20%. I got you.
Don't know the statistic, but had children at very young ages. And so their kids are about to be 18, 19, 20, and they are having children. So it's like they didn't get a chance to experience what it's like to be 18, 19, or in 18 to 28 because they were taking care of their kids in that time frame. And now that their kids are becoming grown and independent, they don't have to do they don't have to deal with that. Now they're trying to go back and relive their childhood or their younger adult years.
And to prove a point, and this is why I think a lot of this is why, because you just said something that was very profound. Bernice Burgos had her first child at 15.
Right.
Her oldest child is 27, and her youngest is 18 years old. So,
and that's what I'm saying. You don't get to be grown up. Yeah. You don't get to do grown up things early, and then when it's time for you to do other grown up things, you get to delay that.
You shun it. It don't work like that. All of a sudden, all of a sudden, you want to shun being the old head now because that's what you are. Like, I had Sam was born when I was 22. Whenever when Sam, I hate thinking about this because this is my baby, but when Sam finally has children, I'm not gonna sit back and say, "No, I ain't no grandpa." Do I look like a grandpa? I probably will because I'm already grand and I got. But whatever, I probably will look like a grandpa. But I ain't gonna sit here and shun the fact that I got grandkids.
You can color that and just disguise your age. But
that's the problem, D-Lo.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. That's why Bernice don't think she need to be a grandma. Yeah. That's why Bernice thinks she don't need to be called grandma because she has manufactured herself to look like. To look as if she's about 20 years younger than she is.
Right.
But in reality, you 42 and you got 2 grandchildren.
Yeah.
You are a grandma, period. Like, stop fighting the bullshit, bro. Stop fighting
I get it.
Don't shun it.
I get it. No, I'm saying I get that you're trying to like delay getting old. We've already talked about this. We fear the acknowledgement that we are closer to our deathbed because everybody has to die at some point in time. You can't outrun that. But I mean, and be what you are. You are a grandmother. Be grandmother. Like, okay, you don't have to. And this is where it stemmed from. She was saying like she's not going to be taking care of the kids a lot for her daughters. Like she's, how most grandmothers step in and like say, okay, you want to go do this? I'll watch the kids. And then that opens up the door to always watch the kids. No, I can
D-Lo.
understand that, but you
D-Lo.
are grandmother.
D-Lo, hold on, D-Lo.
What's
hold
up?
on, D-Lo.
What's up?
She really came out her mouth and said that?
Yeah.
But she had, no. I didn't see that, but I'm gonna take your word for it. And the reason why,
I don't want to put out false information.
But the reason why I'm gonna take your word for it is because Bernice, you had a child at 15, so you most likely did to your mother what you're saying you're not gonna do for your child. You probably your mother probably watched that child a lot of the time because you were a 15-year-old mom. So like. You still had to go to school. You probably still had to work. You probably didn't know really what you were doing at 15 years old, which is understandable, which not a lot of 15-year-olds know how to be parents because you're still a child or a kid or teenager. Then you needed that guidance. You needed that help to watch to help you raise that kid. And there's always that old adage, the villages raise children these days. So like, how are you going to say you're not going to do something for your kid, for your grandchild that your kids probably were put through? That makes no sense. And that's like,
okay. I apologize. I don't see that she said that. One of the videos and articles that I read included the fact that opening up taking care of grandchildren for children can lead to a lot of them asking you to take care of the children in the long run. So you can't live your life as a grandparent. You're reliving your life as a parent, is what it was saying.
But in that same sense, though, that's still contradictory to what she put her own mother through. Because this is mainly speculation, but I'm about 95% sure that with her being a 15-year-old mom, her mother, the grandmother of her child, took care of her child a lot. You know what I'm saying? And even with me and Sam's mom being 22 and 20-year-old parents, our families help watch Sam as well. A lot of the time. You see what I'm saying? So it's like we still have our own things going on. So you still can't sit here and say that you're not going to do that when you're going to be grandma. Like you're going to be grandma. Like your daughter is going to come to you and say, Mom, I'm about to go on this vacation. Can you watch what you going to say? No, that's insane. So I don't know, man. Right. I mean, this conversation is actually making me kind of like turn face on Bernice a little bit because I don't like this conversation.
Nah, you ain't.
I don't like this conversation.
Right back to the Instagram.
I don't like this conversation, bro. I don't like this conversation, bro. I mean, I know what it is on the page. I know exactly what it is, but it's just it's more than just what she shows on Instagram. This is giving me a glimpse into her personality that I don't like. And that makes her ugly to me.
I mean, we don't know that she actually said that, but what we do know is she said she's not grandma. Does she look like a grandma? That's what we do know. And so you can, make your speculations and judgments based off of that comment, but don't base it off of her not wanting to take care of the grandkids because we don't know that she actually said that. Okay. Somebody put that in the article and the video.
Okay.
So yeah.
You. So
moving on though.
Do your thing. Go ahead. Yeah, move on.
Earlier this week, J.Cole released a vlog in which he shared a song that many view as a teaser for his highly anticipated album, The Fall Off. Mm-hmm. How you think The Fall Off is going to be as an album? Is it instant classic? Is it multiple listens to down the road, or is it a flop? Which we all know it's not going to be a flop.
It's not going to be that.
You got to put that in there.
That's for sure not going to be that
in there.
First of all, the teaser was fire. Just giving him giving the listeners and the viewers a inside look on how he goes through his tour and how he interacts with the people who he takes with him and how he used to make his beats back in the day and how he's trying to show back up on his beat making and a lot of different things that was in this trailer or in this teaser. Mm-hmm. The song was fire that he teased. I don't even what was the name of the song? We talked about that.
I don't know what it is, man. Like it said everything I see says might delete this later, volume 1. Mm-hmm. But I felt like
I think that's the
delete this
title of
later
the
was
actual teaser, the trailer, and he might come out with another volume just to kind of tease it more down the line. But either way,
I don't.
The song in the trailer, the song in the teaser was dumbfire. I loved it.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be perfectly honest, I think it's going to be because we talked about this whole camera too. It's like he teases something, and just like you said the other day, it's like, damn, he gonna be rapping like this. You know what I'm saying? Then you get to the album, and it's like, okay, I still fuck with it, but it won't what I was expecting type shit. Right?
I gotta stop telling you what I'm gonna say. I gotta stop telling you what I'm gonna say.
Did I take your point?
Nigga, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, no, every time, like, and I always end up liking the album
100% every
based
time.
off of, so with the For Your Eyes Only, before that album came out, he released False Prophets and Everybody Dies, and I was like, oh boy, if he rapping like this album will be. And the album For Your Eyes, it took a while for me to get.
100. That was the one.
A dope album.
It's a dope album.
That's a dope album, right? But it just didn't sound like those two songs. And then last year, or 2 years ago, or whenever he released the off season, he released Lion King on Ice, the Climb Back. And I'm like, ooh, okay, yeah, he about to get it. And again, the album grew on me, but the initial listen, it takes me a while to get with most albums anyway. I don't really like albums off the first listen,
right?
But I can understand, like, okay, this is the song I want to listen to, this song I want to listen to, and then I'll go back and try to play the whole album. With those albums though, like Off Season, the first song, I was like, okay, that's what I was expecting, and then it kind of fell off. But then as I kept listening to it, I'm like, okay, yeah, he going in. I gotta listen to him, and not worry about all of everything else, because before the Off Season, he was producing all of his albums.
He was producing everything.
You kind of knew what to expect with the beat. Like, it didn't sound like the production was that extensive. But then, as of lately, his production has been extensive. He kind of has farmed out the beats, and he's just been rapping on it. If he stays in the pocket that he's been in the last year and a half with his feature run that he's been on, I think it's an instant classic.
I think so too, but I think it's gonna be an instant classic as well, bro, because that's hard to say though, because like you said, you mentioned what I was gonna mention. The For Your Eyes Only album was like the first couple of listens, I was like, oh, this shit ain't hitting. But the more I listened, it was like, oh nah, that joint fire. That joint fire. So it's like, and that's the same thing my sister said, because my sister Cash, shout out to you, sis, love you. She's the biggest J. Cole fan I know. And she kept telling me, nah, bro, you gotta go back and listen to it. I was like, I ain't really feeling it. You gotta go back and listen to it. And the more I listened, now that's an album that I can honestly say maybe one or two tracks that I can listen to without skipping.
Yeah.
And but what I want is for him to, I hope it's 2014 Forest Hills. That's what I hope it is. That's what I'm hoping it is. But if it is to the level of For Your Eyes Only, then I love that too, because that's gonna give me a chance to keep listening. Because
I hope it's Friday Night Lights.
That's the thing though. That wasn't an album. That's the one that I'd be like, yo.
But it was supposed to be.
It's banging, banger after banger after banger. So and if it is, that's just gonna be fire. I hope it's Friday Night Lights too, though.
It might delete later. He said it's like Jay releasing Reasonable Doubt last.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And so, like, a lot of people have gone back now, and you got a lot of slack for this in one of the segments we did way back.
Yeah, and I'm still getting slack, and people still talk about it.
Yeah, it's about saying Reasonable Doubt was not better than Tupac and all that. That's not what you were saying. You just said that you felt like,
in my opinion, I thought it was good, and I thought it was better. And so that was my opinion.
A lot of people have gone back and listened to Reasonable Doubt, and like, oh yeah, this is probably one of Jay's best albums.
Yes.
And so if that is what this is going to be, and we don't know if this is actually a teaser for the fall off or not, but this is typically what he does when he's about to release an album. Is he'll come back on social media. He'll put out this and there, and then he'll release a song and some trailers and whatnot to get you hyped, and then he releases his album. So if it's what we think it's going to be and what he's saying is going to be, definitely going to be instant classic, I think, because he's been killing it the last year.
I was just about to say that.
Features.
He did it a little bit different this time because like you said, he will come back, he will drop a song. It's like before he dropped album of the year before he dropped the off season. No, that was before he dropped
KOD.
KOD. Yeah, KOD, album of the year, undebated bleed, the greatest be, the greatest we. He was going crazy on that joint, you know what I'm saying? Yep. So it's like he drops a couple of songs, gets back on social media like D-Lo said, but this time he did a whole year and a half run of just features and bangers and killing everybody's shit. And now he coming back with the album, and now he like doing the same routine, back on social media, dropping a trailer, talking to the fans, and he don't usually promo. For the last couple of albums, he didn't really do a lot of promos or whatever. But he's been touring here more recently now. But it's just like, bruh, if it is like Jay-Z dropping Reasonable Doubt last, I can't wait for the album, because that line right there was like, all right, bet my nigga, I'm on it. I'm on it.
Yeah. Well, we gonna be on it anyway because we 2-6 and
we 2-6 yeah, fat.
But like, you could definitely tell he been around Drake a lot too, because the title of whatever this is, if it's the song, if it's the vlog, might delete this. That sound like some Drake.
That sound like some Drake. That
don't sound like no typical J.Cole stuff, right?
Cole. That ain't Jermaine.
Yeah, he been around. Yeah, he been around Drake 100%. So I mean, if that's the case, then that also means like he is probably going to go crazy with some production too, because Drake is known to have a lot of different producers on his songs and having the best of the best beats. So we're gonna see, because he also had in the trailer, he was talking to who was that? He was talking to the producer.
I can't remember the name myself. I ain't really big.
Is it Tay Keith?
I think it was Tay Keith
he was talking to.
Yeah, I think it was Tay Keith.
He was talking to. And so I'm looking forward to it. I hope it is what I'm anticipating. And even if it's not, I know it'll probably grow on me. If it don't, it don't, but it'll probably grow on me, and I'm going to like it just like majority of the other albums that I've listened to with him.
Just before we close it out, it was one thing that I saw in that trailer, right, that made me think about a concept.
I already know it. Wooden balls all over the place, and if you sleep naked by yourself, you low key want somebody to come take it. Stop it.
I said it. But in a sense, he said if you sleep it like that by yourself, you won't. You know what I'm saying? You ain't by yourself, brother. So nah. Exactly. So I had to, but I thought about it. I was like,
nah, never that.
All right, but anyway, moving forward a little bit into the topic, man. AT&T recently, well, I think it was a lot of carriers, a lot of cell carriers. I think Verizon had the same situation, Sprint, T-Mobile, but AT&T I think had the biggest disturbance. Now, I didn't physically, I didn't feel the disturbance because it wasn't. I don't think it was in my area as much, but apparently, it was a huge cell disturbance here recently. What was that? Was that Thursday? Thursday they had a cell disturbance, and AT&T took a hit the most, and they actually sent out text messages. I got a text message a couple of days ago. Matter of fact, I think I still got it. It says he said it's AT&T. We apologize for Thursday's outage, which may have impacted you. As a value customer, your connection matters, and we are committed to doing better. So, D-Lo?
Are you committed to giving me my money back for a little bit of the?
You know what's crazy, D-Lo? You know what's crazy? I'm glad you said that, because I got this text message on the way to go pick Sam up yesterday, right? And what I was about to say, it might make me look kind of crazy in the grand scheme of things, but I don't care because I'm a salesman. What I was about to text this number back was, Thursday, I lost a couple of deals that costed me a couple of $1,000s. Are you willing to help me recoup that money? I was about to send that money back because again, I didn't. It was going to be a little bit of parody, a little bit. Honestly, I was really honestly just joking, but I was going to see how far I could take it if they responded back to the message, because I'm sure that there was salespeople within different avenues that could not receive phone calls because they had cell outage, and it was probably money on the table there. You know what I'm saying? Like thousands and thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, that was on the table there. So I was literally about to text him back as I was sitting in traffic going to pick up my daughter. I lost thousands of dollars because I couldn't call clients. I'm a salesman. I sell insurance. I lost thousands of dollars. Are you willing to help me recoup that because of your cell outage? Question mark. ... Et cetera, et cetera. Like, are you going to do that?
Right.
Because I know there's people that lost money because of that. And like, are you going to pay my bill because I couldn't use my phone for a day? But I mean, that's a little bit, that's facetious. Facts. That's facetious. Like, pay my bill because I couldn't talk on my phone for a day. But at the same time, it's like, I know there were people that lost money because they couldn't talk on their phone. You know what I'm saying? But how do you feel about it? Like, what do you think? What do you think caused it? Because that was weird. It was weird.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. I'm glad you asked.
What's up?
So
brother?
when it happened, first I was affected, and let me tell you how I figured out I was affected. So when I first noticed it, I had just gotten back from dropping my daughter off at the bus stop. And I thought I hit something wrong on my phone. Like, I thought I hit something to put me into that SOS, is what you saw at the top of the screen, and you couldn't make any calls. Luckily, I was on the internet at the house, so I could still get on different apps, get on the internet and stuff like that, but still could not receive. I could receive text messages, but I couldn't receive calls. So I kept looking and trying to figure out if I did something wrong. And then finally I was like, man, let me ask my wife. And so I asked her to look at her phone, and she was like, yeah, I got that SOS too. And so then I knew, like, okay, it's not just me. Let me go to the internet and see what the heck is going on. Come to find out, it was this big outage that supposedly they say it hit other carriers, but it definitely hit AT&T the most.
100%.
And so, long story, fast forward to you asking about what you think happened. I had said when it first happened, and I looked at different internet clippings where they were saying Verizon was hit, T-Mobile was hit, AT&T sees the most outage. I said this is a cyber attack. Like, we are being attacked by I don't know who we're being attacked by, but that's what this is. Because they always you've heard in the last 5 years or so that the next world war won't be fought on battlefields. It'll be fought in space and over the internet. And what have we been doing the last 3 years? We've been engaging in some type of battle with other countries, sending aid to other countries. Never want to get political on this platform.
Right.
At least that's not our intention. But sometimes you got to talk about this stuff. I feel like we were under attack. Somebody was trying to put us, like do harm to us in a way that we couldn't communicate with each other. And then whatever happened after that. So that's what I feel about it. I felt like that when it first happened. That's the first thing I said. If I could bring my wife on the pod, she would say, yeah, he said that. That's exactly what he said. And then her dad used to be in the military. He sends us articles, and come to find out a pharmacy had experienced some outages as well. So, I mean, somebody's definitely trying to do something to the security of America. I believe, like, it's, again, don't want to be political, I believe it's another high altitude balloon in the
I was about to bring
United
that up
States
too.
flying.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's a lot of stuff that's going on, man, that I think this for sure was a cyber attack, in my opinion. It hasn't been classified as that yet. We shall see in the next coming weeks, whenever they decide to really let us know what's going on. And then, the balloon, something's about to happen.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, because I was about to say that too, is that when you mentioned it being a cyber attack, I was like, they've been trying to breach the government's internet security. They've been trying to breach the government security for a long time now. Or whoever's been doing it, whoever's sending these balloons over.
We don't know who it is.
We don't know who it is, but whoever's sending these balloons over, whoever is trying to breach the internet, whoever's doing all these cyber attacks, it's been going on for a few years now, and we've been our government has been the center of attention. But I believe that though. I believe that. I think it is a cyber attack. I think it is a cyber attack, and we just got to figure out a way to fend fend these motherfuckers off, because we don't need none of this pertinent information to get leaked, because that's when wars happen. And as soon as that happens, it's gonna be all hell gonna break loose. So I believe you, D-Lo. I think it is a cyber attack.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. It seems, well, because we always put our nose in everybody else's business, but that's because right now our money is the central. Everybody uses our money, for exchange and whatnot,
right?
And so we have to put our nose in everybody's business in order to make sure that they still are using our money as their main currency or their exchange currency, right? Because if we don't, as has been talked about for the last year, our dollar, our money, our currency will decline and somebody else's will go. And then we'll be, which I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing, because we've never been not the world's dominant currency, world dominant power that we know of. Like, it's happened before, but we never experienced it. But if we become number 2, what happens? Or if we become number 3, what happens? I mean, there's plenty of other countries' currencies that's 2 and 3 and they prosper just fine. But I don't know. But that's why we stick our nose in everybody's business, and that's why we always get the brunt of everything when it comes to attacking us or going against us and whatnot as a country.
I agree. Yep.
So, Sticks, would you live in a NASA simulation of Mars for a whole year?
How much they paying me?
I don't know. They just said they wanted to pay you. Let me check that out.
How much?
Let me check it out.
I think I would. I mean, it's just that's tough, because I mean, you are embarking into something that is totally. Everything is unexpected, and they're using you as a test dummy. That's what incites me a little bit, is because if they're doing this simulation, they know that Mars is habitable. They know it, and they've been talking about it for a while now. But they know that Mars is habitable, and that they probably know, and they're probably hiding it from us. And this is just my speculation. Don't take this too far, audience in the chats. Don't kill me. They've probably been up there. They've seen people habitate a different species habitating the planet. But that's just me. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I just be scared of a lot of shit like AI and aliens. I'm not necessarily scared of aliens, but I know they exist, and it's like they gonna probably fuck us up. But it's like, I think I would probably do it. It just depends on the value that they put on this. Did you find it?
So they haven't, in the article that I read, the first one, it did not give a monetary value. Yeah. Just said that they would pay you, and you would have to live there from June 25th to July 6th of next. The first mission began on June 25th and is set to conclude. Also, they've already have some individuals participating, which started last year, the day after my birthday, June 25th, and is concluding July 6th of this year. So, it doesn't say what they would pay you. I'm sure they probably won't disclose what they are going to pay you, because
it would be, if it's astronomical, people would just sign up just to sign up, honestly.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I would not do this.
You wouldn't do it?
Nah.
Why not?
I would not do this because, well, one, it's a simulation of Mars, right? And so Mars, like, we know Earth is in that happy zone where everything is just right for us as far as the amount of air,
climate,
climate and whatnot. So if they're simulating Mars, that means they are actually, like, you have to live as if you were on. Nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the guinea pig for that.
Fact,
because what if something goes wrong? Okay, you're paying me you're paying me to participate in that. But if something goes awry, are you willing to pay me for any medical damages that I have
I'm pretty sure you got to sign a waiver.
Or are you willing to pay? Exactly. And so for the simple reason that I have to sign a waiver in order to do this, I remember what you did to my grandparents, not my actual grandparents, with injecting them with syphilis. I remember what you did to. No, I'm not participating in this. If I got to be the first to do this, to see how we would react when we go to Mars, nah, I'll pass on that. I love my kids, my wife, and that too. Like I got to be away from my family for a year. It ain't for me. I don't care how much you pay. Like, I mean, everybody has a number. It has to be something crazy for me to do it though. Because you got it.
Yeah. When you put it in that perspective, I would probably say no to. You know what I'm saying? Because I would have to sign a waiver. Anything other than the money that comes out of that, you're not responsible for, most likely. Like, nah. Because and Mars is probably hot. I don't like heat, cuz. I don't like the heat. I don't like it. I don't like it. I would much rather be cold than hot any day, even though I have iron deficiency and I'm always cold, but I would much rather be cold and get warm than to be warm to get cold. That's harder to do. So
well, this says overall Mars is cold. Its average global temperature is around negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
I don't like that extreme cold. That's extreme cold. That's like Wisconsin cold. That's insane. That's like Alaska cold.
Shit, that Wisconsin shit. That's like North Canada.
That's insane.
Cold.
Yeah, because
it says I got some it has a much thinner atmosphere. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I know Alaska's cold, but this says that Mars's atmosphere is much thinner than Earth because it has about a sixth of the pressure of Earth's atmosphere. The planet doesn't retain heat very long, which is crazy that it's red. But the planet doesn't retain heat very long, causing temperatures to drop quickly.
I like cold.
I'll pass on that.
But I don't like that extreme cold. I'm good. I'm an Eskimo at that point. I ain't trying to do that.
I'll pass.
So I changed my answer. But like you said, everybody has a price, and it really just depends on what you're paying me.
Yeah. If you're gonna pay me $5 million,
I don't want to be away from Sam. I don't want to be away from my lady. I don't want to be away. I mean, I'm comfortable. I ain't necessarily comfortable because I want to get better, but I'm liking where I'm at right now, and I don't want to change that just to be your guinea pig for a test that you're trying to figure out if we can cohabitate or I don't know the word I'm trying to say, but I ain't trying to go there no way. I'm trying to stay on Earth even if it is habitable. So I ain't trying to. Yeah. I'm good. $5 million though, D-Lo. I don't know. I'm like
$5 million. You give me $5 million, yeah, I'm good.
You gonna go for $5 million?
Yeah, $5 million. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, everybody has a price because you just said you weren't going to do it, but now $5 million you gonna do it. $5 million. $5 million. I'm crazy. I'm insane.
$5 million.
But
realistically, if you give me $3 million to make sure that my family don't have to worry about bills while I'm gone, all right.
Yeah. Okay. Then the wife can. Yeah.
She can chill. She don't have to.
Chill. She ain't got to work. She ain't got to do nothing.
Focus on the kids. Yeah.
She ain't got to do nothing. So, Michael Jackson, man, the king of pop, one of the most polarizing artists of all time, probably the greatest artist of all time, greatest performer of all time.
Polarizing again?
I don't think that's a bad word, but we ain't got to go there. We ain't got to go there.
Yeah.
We ain't got to
I'm just saying, well, what do you mean when you say polarizing?
National acclaim.
That's not polarizing.
Either way, I'm gonna use my word.
Yeah.
Polarizing. Y'all in the comments tell me what y'all think polarizing mean, because me and D-Lo talk about this damn word all the time. So either way, y'all in the comments tell me what you think polarizing means. So I'm gonna use my word. One of the most polarizing artists and performers. You think it's a negative connotation to that word, don't you?
No, it is.
Anyway,
let's while we're here, go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
His estate, Michael Jackson's estate, sold the rights to his catalog to Sony for $1.2 billion. That is a lot of money. But what's crazy is for the artist and the performer that I thought that I saw Michael Jackson, even though it's a 1.2 billion, I think that's low for Mike Jack. What you think?
I 100% think that is absolutely low. It should be like 2 billion easily. Because I mean,
go so
Mike
far as to
gave
say
us
5 billion. I ain't gonna lie. That's his
Well, I
catalog
mean-
is insane, and it was so much of his music that is timeless music.
right, and a lot of
Timeless
samples
music.
come from his music.
Yeah, facts. But
Yeah.
I think it should be more too. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
No, you're good. No, yeah, it definitely should be more. The reason I think I said 2 billion is because at some point the person or the entity that has purchased his music catalog has to reap the benefits of that. So if you're paying more than a billion, more than 2 billion, when does that point actually hit? Because at some point in time, while my children know who Michael Jackson is, your children
My daughter knows who.
your daughter
Yep.
knows who Michael Jackson is.
I
At
guess
some
you can say
point in
children,
time,
but we ain't gonna get into that. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
At some point in time, like when does that cutoff hit to where people don't really like the generations don't really know who Michael Jackson is? Because there are a lot of I grew up listening to oldies, right?
Me too.
But there are a lot of artists before that age of oldies that I have listened to that I know nothing about because my dad and my mom didn't really know about them as much. And so because they didn't know about it and because we didn't listen to it, I don't know those individuals, right? And so like with the oldies that I listen to, I don't listen to them all the time. My kids don't know all of those individuals. They know who Michael Jackson is because I've listened to Michael Jackson I don't know how many times with them, sung some songs. My wife has listened to Michael Jackson with them. So when does that cutoff hit? So if you paying right now $1 billion, that means you expect to recuperate that
plus
in
more
some time frame. Plus more, right?
Yep.
A way pantheons
astronomical
of
number,
more,
yeah, facts.
right? way
a
more
Mars simulation
than
number.
what you pay. Exactly, way more than what you pay for it,
right?
Fairly quickly or within a reasonable time frame. And so, if you're paying something large, you probably won't really get that. So, unless you're saying people are always going to sample Michael Jackson's music, let's get this and hope that they're going to pay the number that they need, that we need them to pay to sample the music. So
yeah,
that's why it definitely needs to be, I think it should have been more than the 1.2 billion evaluation that they paid for it, but it couldn't have been much more than that, but it should definitely been more.
Yeah, I say 5 billion because of just the status in which Michael Jackson holds in pop culture, just in general. You know what I'm saying? Because literally, I would say, like you said, I don't know what that cutoff is, but as of right now, 2024, I think I would say 3/4 to 4/5 of the world knows who Michael Jackson is.
And so that is not polarizing.
What's the definition of polarizing?
The definition of polarizing, I'm glad you asked, my friend, means to cause something to divide into two opposing groups. That is from the Cambridge Dictionary.
To cause something to divide in two opposing groups.
Yeah, okay. To cause something, especially something that contains different people or opinions, to divide into two.
So what is the antonym to polarizing then?
The antonym to polarizing, I mean, I ain't nigga, I'm not the Cambridge Dictionary.
You ain't Webster.
Yeah, I'm not
you ain't Webster.
Let me see. Let me go into the actual dictionary.
You said that word again?
It would be similar related words. Where's the antonyms for this dictionary?
Decentralizing. Nah, that ain't it.
Nah. Decentralizing.
Combining, joining, mixing, uniting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so D-Lo, I can concede, sir. I do apologize, my brother. I do apologize, my brother. I guess I've heard that word used in such a positive way over the years that I just kind of took that in. I don't know.
In your defense, though, because of some of the allegations that he's been in, he could
be polarizing. True.
But
true shit.
I don't think a lot of people look at that when they think of Michael Jackson and his music. Like, it's just overlooked.
I agree.
I think it could be. I could be wrong with that, but that's what I think. But yeah, it definitely should be over the 1.2 billion evaluation that they got.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. You just see a lot of estates. You see a lot of artists selling their music nowadays. And it's like, okay, well, do they need the money? Probably not. But when will they ever get this amount of money ever again?
Very true.
And so
then you got to think of who all is in the estate, who they split this 1.2 billion with, how much taxes are taken out of that money. So what are you really getting from this 1.2 billion? But hundreds of millions of dollars, obviously.
Yeah.
But why
there's different trains of thoughts there.
Does it say why they sold it?
Because
to me that don't make no sense. Like, you selling the rights to Mike's music when you could probably make over time more than the $1.2 billion. I don't understand that. It doesn't make no sense to me.
Let's see.
Why did they sell that? Why did his estate sell that? I don't know.
All right, so selling half of, so they only sold, and that's why they only sold half.
Sold half of
his interest.
That makes sense.
Catalog.
Then that makes sense. That doesn't necessarily make sense as to why they would sell it, but that makes sense as to why it was 1.2 billion. Because we just said it should be more, so it's actually technically more. Technically, if they only sold half of it.
The musical Broadway show, upcoming biopic, is possibly more assets. So I don't see why they sold it.
Okay, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it don't matter, but it just don't make. I would fair to say that they would make more keeping the music that they sold to Sony than selling it over time, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but it has to be some thought process behind it.
You know, it's a formula. Everything's calculations and formulas these days of what is what and what's going to make the most money, what's going to flop, what can you benefit from the most. I'm sure it was some calculation done on both parties of what to expect from Michael Jackson's catalog in the next 20 years. And an offer was made. It was accepted because of whatever factor. And there it is. I mean, it's a couple different trains of thoughts when it comes to artists selling their rights, their catalogs back to labels or back to media groups. Some say you shouldn't do it because you can always make money off of that without doing anything. Others say you should do it because when else will you get that lump sum? And with the way that the streaming is changing the game, and we talked about that earlier, where 1 million streams only gets you $4,000, when back in the day 1 million records could get you $1 million.
Facts.
Or so on and so forth. So I mean,
it's a little different these days, but that's why everything is juiced, man. Because if you can average $5,500 for 1 million streams and you hit 500 million, you're making some bread. So you're gonna see.
Right. Sticks, episode 57.
57 in the books, bruh. In the books.
57 in the books. I think so. We were supposed to do some episode 50. We didn't do it.
We didn't.
So maybe 75. Maybe 75 we can. Yeah, we should think about doing something.
We got a plan
different than what we have been doing.
I got an idea.
Okay, we'll talk about that offline.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. All right, man. So we want to thank you all for tuning in to Too Complex. Remember that life is too short and oftentimes complex. But when it becomes too complex, don't forget to lean on those that you love, the most to help you find simplicity and balance in life. Stay prayed up in this crazy world that we live in. A couple of prayers sent above can return you peace and sanity. Thanks for loving us and supporting this podcast. It means a lot to us. We're sending our love right back to you. Don't forget to subscribe on all of wherever you listen to your podcast and those streaming services, and also to follow us on all of our social media platforms. That's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And as always, if it ain't too complex, it ain't complex at all. Until next time, we'll see you when we see you. Salute.